Poetry in motion, Sunday poetry in motion. Poetry in motion, Sunday poetry in motion. Poetry in motion, Sunday poetry in motion. Poetry in motion, Sunday poetry in motion.
Hello once again and welcome to Poetry in Motion Sunday. I'm Craig Lewis and you're watching episode 57. As we begin with my first poem, this one's called Number 4. I could hear the sound system from the park. The reggae beat was thumping to the rhythm of my heart. I wasn't there, but I was tuned in through the window of my yard, which was ajar. On the stage was singing a global rising star. Then I heard arriving sirens. The sound system had faded to silence, and I wondered what's the cause. The time was 10 to 5. I grabbed my phone, someone was streaming live. There was a young lad in a stretcher. I knew not the reason why. They rushed him to the helicopter, which then took off to fly. The phone camera panned to several officers beating a guy, and the phone would freeze. I began to feel unease. Could be the fact my signal's poor. These were my first thoughts. Then an inkling came to halt, as my eyes began to draw to the victim on the floor, which resembles someone down the road that lives at number 4. Moving on to my second poem, this one's called Riding the Wave. She stands in the mirror, reflecting on her consensus, pushed to consider this place wasn't meant for us. Us meaning her and her son Ezekiel, on a London estate torn by addictions and evil. With her mind's eye, she sketches a sequel to the stabbings and the drive-bys, producing gun blasts, shattered glass, and sonless mothers. All because a ton of "Why doesn't Dad love us?" from the mouths of babes. Each time he leaves the house, she bows and prays for his safe return. To cleanse the house, a sage she burn. 10% of wages earned she gives to her pastor, who secretly lives a life of luxury, while her and Ezekiel eat tuna and pasta on rotate, well, in his case, reluctantly. She graced the food to show the faith, while he sits jaundiced, gulping the poor dish. He harbors notions his taste is richer. Then, as if by compulsion, in his mind he paints a picture of two paths called right and wrong. Will he pursue a craft to master, so one day these times are gone? Or will he sign up for the streets and take a gamble, choosing idle? His mother prays he'll break the cycle, so he can make the change that's vital, like the goal to clinch the title. And since there's no arrival of a knight in shining armor to deliver aspects of father figure, Ezekiel seeks only half the picture. Through her mouth, she passes scripture quotes like inner monologue spoke as she soaks in a Radox bath. After a night shift, does she like it? We may not ask. Reason why? It's just a means to get by. If not for her faith, she'd be feeling to cry. On the counter, she keeps hopes high, riding the wave as it goes by. Moving on to my third and final poem of the day. This one's called The Misread Dog with a Broken Heart. No highs but lows for the dog that roams with no owner to claim. Its friendliness is profuse, but no one knows its name. The owner had a fall one summer's afternoon, with no one there to call, just a dog to see the doom. It sat and cried as it watched the life seep from the eyes, as the very soul would rise from its best friend. Laying on the patio, if the dog could speak, its words would be, "Why did you have to go?" If the dog could speak, most certainly, it would see the urgency to grab the phone and call the number for emergency. Since not the case, the dog slipped out the gate to run for help, hoping that the plea within its eyes was read by someone else. But all she did was utter awe as she patted it on the head. The situation was misread. She took the phone and called the dog rescuers instead. And there you have it, your poetry fix from me this week. Hope you enjoyed. Until next week, short and sweet. Take care.
Poetry in motion, Sunday poetry in motion. Poetry in motion, Sunday poetry in motion. Poetry in motion, Sunday.